Mikey B, I'm going to you. It's the Heat at the Magic, -5.5 at BetMGM. Listen, it's -5 at some places too. I just want to throw that out there. Like a lot of these lines, we were talking pre-show, when it comes to the totals, when it comes to the spreads, these shift, hour to hour, minute to minute potentially. But -5.5, 221.5. Mikey B, any lean in this one? Fade or follow the Orlando Magic?
Yeah, I'll follow the Magic. No Jimmy Butler here for the Heat. That's obviously big. The Magic are great at home. They are 10-2 against the spread at home. So I'll follow the favorites.
All right. Tim Doyle, what are we doing? Are we following the Magic -5, 5.5?
I love the Magic, all right? I pounded over 41.5 season wins total. They're going to blow past that, but I would not lay 5.5 in this game. And I don't like the Heat either. So how do you bet it? I'm going to throw Orlando money line because the juice is way too high. Throw it in a parlay, get weird in a little parlay action. I always like to have one win in a parlay, Sia. You know what I mean? It's like kind of talking to someone when you're single that's maybe not on the same level looks-wise. Just builds up your confidence. So this is just like, let's get a win across the finish line. Let's go Orlando. Because last two games they went up to Boston, smacked around by 17. So now they come home and they might be feeling bad for themselves. So I think they win. I don't know if I would lay the points.
Interesting that you note that, because I know you have a couple official plays today, which of course I'm teasing. We're not going to give them out now, but if you wanted to do a money line parlay, perhaps the Magic and one of your two plays would be involved in that money line parlay. So sorry if I stole your thunder there, Tim. I just think it's a decent idea.
I love it. Yeah, I love it. You didn't give away the other team, so stick around. What do you got for us, Sia?
Stick around. All right, let's go Jazz Cavaliers. Cleveland's -6.5 here. Mikey B, I'm going right back to you. Are you fading or following the Cleveland Cavaliers at home?
All right, so I got my first prop. This is a doctor's bag for my daughter's toys. Everyone is hurt on these two teams. Darius Garland's out for the Cavaliers. Evan Mobley's out. Nor Jordan Clarkson or Keontae George for the Jazz. Still, I'm going to follow the Cavaliers. The Jazz are 4-10 against the spread on the road.
Yikes. Tim, are you with Mikey B here?
I'm going to be on the other side, and here's why. 2 out of the last 3 games for Utah, they actually won. I know they're not great, and I know Lauri Markkanen has the exact same haircut as Terry Doyle, my mom, who's 80. Like, I think they get like blown out in the back, a little curly back there. Like, that's a compliment. Terry Doyle's a saint, all right? If you take her out to a steak dinner, you better call her. I'm going to take the dog in this spot. Give me the Jazz plus the points.
All right, let's go Hornets at the Pacers. Pacers -10.5. By the way, the total here, 248.5, 249 in some places. Just defense is truly optional at this point when you're playing the Pacers. Mikey B, what do we like in this one?
Yeah, defense being optional is why I'm going to fade the Pacers at -10.5. The Hornets are going to get Miles Bridges and Gordon Hayward back for this game. There's going to be plenty of points on both sides. I could see this coming down to the last few minutes. Maybe the Hornets throw in a garbage time three-pointer to keep it within single digits. So that number is just too high. I'll fade the Pacers.
All right, Tim, what are we doing here?
Yeah, I love betting over in Pacer games. At one point, they were 16-2 to the over. The smart play, the nerd play is probably under. But I don't want to be a nerd. Like, who is outside? Like, oh, you know what I bet today? I took under in the Pacers game. Like, there's going to be a lot of possessions. There's going to be a lot of points. First matchup was 249. It ended up being a 1-point game. I think the Pacers aren't necessarily in a great place, right? They came home from Vegas. They beat the Pistons. But ever since then, they have laid nothing but eggs. Hornets are a hard team to trust, but I kind of like Mike's play more than I like my own. I like over, but I could see the dog even winning this game.
Pacers got worked on Friday by the Washington Wizards. If that doesn't, I mean, when I say worked, like they were not contending in that game really at any given moment. So if that tells you what the state of the Pacers are after this in-season tournament, that should really tell you everything you need to know. Timberwolves at 76ers, Sixers -3.5. I trust Martin Green likes the Sixers here. Mikey B, how about you?
I'll fade them. Timberwolves are 9-4 on the road. They have Rudy Gobert to match up with Joel Embiid. Probably the best team in the league in terms of being able to match up with Embiid. I could see them winning outright, let alone covering here. So I'll fade the 76ers.
Okay, Tim Doyle, are you with Mikey B? Are you fading the Sixers here?
I think this is an impossible play here for the 76ers. This guy right here was a boy, a ball, and a dream at some point, okay? And when he watched the Sixers the other night, they were at home, and they lost to the Bulls. Like, I can't all of a sudden get behind a team that loses to the Bulls, all right? This guy was supposed to be Jokic. Sia, I don't know what happened. I actually know what happened, okay? Jokic grew to 6'11". I am only 6'5", and I'm in my mom's basement. I don't know where things went sideways in my life, and last year I made $86,000. So I just have an impossible time of laying 3.5 in this game. I'm going to take the dog, but I think this game should be more of a pick 'em.
I think you and Jokic are on the same trajectory still, Tim. I really do. And boy, are you handsome. Speaking of Jokic, we've got the Nuggets -4.5 at the Raptors. Man, Tim, you really know what you're doing. You're bringing in props because you know what the next game is going to be. But Mikey B, I go to you first here. Nuggets -4.5 at the Raptors. Are you fading or following the road team here?
I'm following the road team. They're fully healthy. Raptors don't have anyone to slow Jokic down. So Nuggets are the better team here. I'm all over it.
Bring your picture to work day, LOL, says Mark Buckholtz. Tim Doyle, what are we doing in this one?
I agree with Mike. This is basically like, I just can't bet the Raptors. I mean, they have been so disappointing this year. You never know what team's going to show up. Like, they spike against Atlanta. They beat Atlanta. You're like, all right, they're going to beat the Hawks 2 in a row. No, they don't. They get like bombasted. If you bet the Raptors, I want to hang out with you because there's no real information that says, Toronto's got a shot in this game. And like Mike said, Denver just beat Dallas by 26. They're in a good place health-wise. Big key for the Nuggets to win a championship is going to end up being their bench, right? Christian Brown, and, they lost some key guys. If they recover the bench, this is going to be Nuggets, Celtics in the finals.
Okay. Knicks at the Nets. Nets, basically a pick 'em. -0.5 at BetMGM, 233.5 point total. Oh, I see a hammer from Tim Doyle, which is very interesting. But Mikey B, I go to you first. Where are you at on this one?
I'm going to quickly get out of the way for Tim. I don't have a great feel for this game at all. I guess I'll lean the Nets because they're 8-5 at home. But go ahead, Tim. All yours, buddy.
Oh, my God. I love the Nets. They're one of the best cover teams in the NBA. Hammer, see ya. Nets in this spot. Let me just give you some last 2 home games, okay? Last home game they played, Washington. I know it's the Wizards. They beat them by 27. The previous home game, okay, home being the key word here. They played Orlando. They beat the Magic, who we all consider to be pretty good. They beat them by 28. A few games before that, they beat the Heat by 15. I just think we don't get excited about the Nets because they don't have those marquee players that they once had a few years ago. But the Knicks have been on a very long West Coast trip. They come essentially home here, and they play a team that's better than a lot of people expected. I think the Nets should be 4 in this spot. That's how much I love them. Hammer, Brooklyn.
Love that. Absolutely love it. Stephen Max says Magic at home -5, lock emoji, but EQ says Heat money line. And then Taylor DeHart chimes in with no Butler for MIA. Everybody stay tuned because we've got to play on that one. Okay, we move from Knicks Nets to Lakers at the Bulls. Lakers -4.5. Questionable tags, obviously, with the 2 Lakers superstars. Where are we at? Fading or following the favorite Lakers, Mikey B?
All right, now listen. This right here. Who is this?
Michael Jordan.
Michael Jordan. The reason why I got this out, Kobe White is the next Michael Jordan. No, I'm just kidding. I really just wanted to get this out because my wife makes me keep them in a box where no one can see them because she thinks they're too nerdy. No, I'm gonna follow the Lakers here. Bulls don't have anyone that can defend Anthony Davis. So as much as I want to take the Bulls, I'll follow the Lakers.
Tim Doyle, fading or following Michael Jordan still in a box?
I appreciate that you have your nerd stuff. I take it out of the box, right? There is the king himself. Let's get him lined up here at the camera, okay? I only have 2 bobbleheads, all right? One is, there he is, the king. And the other one is actually a bobblehead of myself that my buddy got made up for weddings that we went to. And it was my ball. I don't know if that bobblehead looks exactly like me. I think my eyes are a little cross-eyed. Maybe that's how I get at weddings. I'm not so sure. I love the Bulls in this spot. Zach LaVine is a cancer. Did I say that out loud? I'm sorry. That was just inner monologue. Zach LaVine is a cancer. Nobody should sign him. Nobody should trade for him, okay? Since he's not been playing for the Bulls, let me just go through this. Beat Miami in Miami. Lose to Miami on a Jimmy Butler last second shot. Beat the 76ers without Zach LaVine. He's not playing in this game. I like Bulls money line. I like Bulls plus the points. Zach LaVine is the snake to the Bulls mongoose, or the mongoose to his snake. See, I'm not really sure. I just know this. It's bad.
Whoa. I'm super impressed. Okay, so let's go Hawks at the Rockets. This is an interesting line here. Rockets at home, pretty impressive team in my opinion. -3.5, 233.5 point total. Mikey B, try not to be too distracted by all the tricks that Tim Doyle is exhibiting here. What do you like here? Do you like the Rockets -3.5?
I've got another prop. This is one of my
Ooh.
favorite. This is my son's rocket ship. Rockets all the way. The Rockets are fantastic at home. The Hawks are just 5-10 against the spread on the road. So fire up the Rockets. Let's go.
I want to fire up the Rockets too, including that Rocket. Tim, do you agree with us?
It looks too easy. This is one of those games.
Yeah.
I agree with Mike. Like it just says Rockets, Rockets, Rockets. If I was a general manager, the guy that I'd be targeting to build my team around is Şagun. I think he's the next Jokic. I actually saw him in a parking lot at the Final Four after I had 2 martinis and 2 beers. And I told him, you need to work out with Jokic. And he goes, I'm going to be better than Jokic. Relax there, fella. But he is really, really good. The Hawks, you don't know what you're going to get. Yeah, could the Hawks win this game? They're going to have to make 23s, and Trey's going to have to have 45. That happens in NBA games, Sia. I just hope it doesn't happen tonight.
Yeah, I hear you. It is somewhat of a curious line here. So, I mean, tread carefully. Clippers -3.5 at the Mavericks. Clippers favored here and starting to play really, really well, but they're on the road. Mikey B, are we fading or following these new look Clippers?
Yeah, I'm going to follow the Clippers. They've won 8 straight, but the big reason why I'm following them, Kyrie Irving, Derek Lively, Josh Green, Maxi Kleber, all out for the Mavericks. They just don't have enough bodies here.
All right, Tim Doyle.
Yeah, I mean, I was wrong. You know, I love to say when I'm right, Sia, and I know that you and I are on a new relationship. We're basically just starting to ride tandem bikes down by Lake Michigan, but I was wrong about the Clippers. I thought this was going to be an absolute disaster, and it was, and now it's not. You know, can you name who's played the most games this year on the Los Angeles Clippers? If you said Kawhi Leonard, you would be right. So in what world are we living in that Kawhi's playing in every game and Paul George has been out there and Harden? I don't know why. I just feel like Harden wears the necklace that Greg Brady found in Hawaii in the 70s, where like at some point everything turns bad. So everything's eventually going to turn bad for the Clippers. But right now it's going really well. So I'll lay the points.
This is why we're quietly best friends, Tim, because I completely agree with everything you just said. I thought they were going to be a disaster. They were for a couple of weeks, and then now they're good. And now I think they're going to be a disaster once the playoffs start, because that's the James Harden experience. All right, let's go to our final rapid fire before we finally get into our best bets. It's the Celtics at the Kings. The Kings -2.5 here, 237.5 point total. I don't know why I said 237. I could have just said 237 and saved us the time. Mikey B, Kings -2.5, fading or following?
Very tough spot for the Celtics here. They just went to overtime last night. 3 of their starters played at least 40 minutes. I could see them resting somebody. The Kings are 10-3 at home. My last prop, this is as close as I could get. Light the beam!
Oh my
Kings.
God. I absolutely love it. All right, Tim, are you also lighting the beam? Big Cheesy's got to be in here saying something. There we go. He says, Kings, light the beam. By the way, people looking, I think, for Griffin Carroll, he'll be on the show. Don't worry. I think at least once a week he's going to be on the show, but his picks are in SportsLine too, I believe. So look out for that. And Buckets has been under the weather. He'll be on the show tomorrow, but don't worry about that either. Tim, did I get to you on this Celtics at Kings pick yet?
Yeah, I just love that Mike went into his kid's room and just stole all the toys.
Yes.
He was like, I got props. Mike, those aren't really, you can't just go and raid your kid's closet and call them props. This line's weird, Sia. It was Celtics -3. Now it's Kings -2.5. If you bet it now, I respect you, because Tatum did turn his ankle, and Mike mentioned they played all the minutes. I agree with Mike. I think a couple of guys are not going to go, and Porzingis is already not playing. When Porzingis plays, this is the best team in the NBA, the Boston Celtics, by far, in my eyes. But, you know, Gene Katie told me this. He was an old Purdue coach. He had a bad comb-over. Came to my wedding, gave me a cash gift. And he said this. He goes, it's not who you play, it's when you play them. And the Kings are catching the Celtics at the right time. So I think they can win this game by 15.